So our lead this hour, we'll start out in sweet home Chicago. Why not? Where the weather is bad, the football is bad, the basketball is bad, the hockey's bad, the baseball's bad, everything's bad right about now in terms of Chicago sports. But the Bears, we focus here, they rolled out the orange carpet. Yeah, very exciting. The orange carpet there in Chicago, welcoming in Ben Johnson. He's your new coach. I know, you're excited. He was introduced at a gala news conference at Hallis Hall, the 19th head coach in the 105-year history of the Chicago Bears. Johnson, 38 years old, and he is hailed as the great savior, the great messiah of the team there in the Windy City, an architect of offensive genius with the Lions, and called up all the right plays for Jared Goff. Of course, the Lions did not succeed in the playoffs. Did not work out so well. But if you didn't catch any of this, and maybe you didn't, let me give you some of the highlights here. Ben Johnson, let's jump to cut 2 here. Here's Ben Johnson talking about what the job in Chicago entails in terms of where the Bears franchise is. They're sleeping right now, apparently.
Going into this season, I felt like this place was a sleeping giant. To be honest with you, I personally was more concerned about the Chicago Bears than I was anybody else in this division. Now, there's a number of reasons why that did not unfold, all right, which that's why I'm here. I'll get to the bottom of that, and we'll see if we can't get that corrected and cleaned up.
All right, so he's really selling hard the fact that the Bears, who won 5 games, were the team that scared him the most in the division. Okay, Johnson said the job was particularly intriguing because of Caleb Williams, right? Building Caleb Williams. We'll talk more about that in a couple of minutes. But he said having a quarterback obviously helps. So let us discuss the question. How did you judge Ben Johnson's opening act as Chicago's coach dealing with the media? So I've got Joel Osteen, sugar-coated, and Geneva Conventions. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to cause double trouble is what we're going to cause. So, number one. Ben Johnson was laying on the salesmanship. Very, very thick, right? Very, very thick. And we watched so many of these opening news conferences over the years. They're always pretty much the same in terms of it's a cookie-cutter format, paint by numbers. It's come out, you got a photo op with the jersey, the helmet. It's, I want to thank my family. I want to thank the owner. I want to thank the fans. These fans deserve a winner. This team is ready to win, and I'm just the person that's going to come in there and make the spectators happy. It's going to be so good. Hot diggity dog, right? This one, like all of them, but even more so listening to Ben Johnson talk, it was like a religious revival. Imagine, if you will, the new coach of the Chicago Bears, Ben Johnson. He's talking like he's a televangelist, like watching Joel Osteen talking about the Bears and what's going to happen in the future, giving a shout-out from the pulpit. It's like a sermon from the pulpit is what it was there. He was doing a sermon and spreading the message, positivity and hope for the Chicago Bears and franchise and player empowerment and all this stuff through his teachings. And all he needs, all Ben Johnson needs is a few disciples. Now, that's it. Now, we played the soundbite, sleeping giant of a franchise. Now, I would argue, based on many years of analyzing the Bears from behind these microphones, that the Bears are not a sleeping giant. They're obviously a hibernating bear in a medically induced coma, is what they're in. And Ben Johnson is tasked with molding Caleb Williams into Jaden Daniels, who, by the way, the Bears, if they knew what they were doing, they would have taken Jaden Daniels with the number 1 pick. But instead, they said, no, we've got a bug up our ass, and we want to take Caleb Williams. And Caleb Williams is so far away from being good, it's not even funny. So good luck to Ben Johnson. Now, here's more. Page 2, the rhetoric continues. So Ben Johnson said that he's leaving the Lions playbook back in Motown. that he's not taking it with him, that Chicago's offense is going to be calibrated for Caleb Williams. So, in fact, here he is talking about Caleb Williams. Take a listen.
This offense will be calibrated with him in mind. We're going to build this thing. This is not simply a dropping of a previous playbook down on the table and starting there. No, we're ripping this thing down to the studs, and we're going to build it up with him first and foremost.
Okay. All right. So what do you make? You just heard the soundbite. What do you make of Ben Johnson saying that he's ripping the Bears' offensive playbook down to the studs for Caleb Williams? All right, so this is say it with me now, dead giveaway. It's a dead giveaway. If you are a pigeon-eared listener, you know what I'm talking about, right? Now, he certainly was sugarcoating things here, Ben Johnson, but Caleb Williams' rookie season was a total waste. A total waste. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's nothing you can save. There's nothing you can salvage. The plumbing, no. The doors, the cabinetry, the appliances, the hardware, complete and total zero. A waste of time. There's nothing left. You're tearing things down all the way to the studs because that's how big a mess Caleb Williams is. And so everyone's talking about, well, I took the job because of Caleb Williams and all. You would not have to bring the playbook down to the studs if Caleb Williams was a stud, but he's not. He holds the ball way too long. He's got a very low football IQ. He's obtuse during games. All you need to know is watch that Thanksgiving Day game. Go back and watch the end of it when the Bears were in position and he turned into a giant turkey. So Ben Johnson will do the same thing he tried to do for Jared Goff. He will spoon feed Caleb Williams. Right? And that's what all these coaches do. But ultimately the problem is that only gets you so far. Because at some point, you've got to take the training wheels off, and in crunch time, you're not going to be able to spoon feed plays. Everything changes, and then you're exposed. And you're exposed in playoff games. Like Jared Goff has been absolutely terrible in the biggest games he's played in with the Lions. No matter that Ben Johnson is there or not, it doesn't matter. He can't handle it. He's completely zapped in big moments, Jared Goff. And so why would anything be different with Caleb Williams? Now, we'll wait. We'll give him the usual grace period, right? Give him a little grace period, Ben Johnson. We'll see what happens. As I said in a previous episode of this program, he's the flavor of the month. He's the soup of the day, and he's the hot shot coordinator. And I'd love to know how this works. Is there like a committee, a blue ribbon panel somewhere at the NFL headquarters where they're like, all right, let's move this guy up to the top of the totem pole where this is the hot to trot assistant coach. It's like, how do you I understand the Lions had a lot of regular season success. There was a lot of smoke for the Lions offense, but unfortunately the flame was not there in the playoffs. They lost to a rookie quarterback at home despite having a bye week. That's embarrassing. And that is absolutely embarrassing. All right, now final point. So many are saying that the Bears head coach, Ben Johnson, poked at the Green Bay Packers when he said, I take pleasure in beating Matt LaFleur twice a year. Now, he was kind of singing the praises of the other coaches in the division, but he said, I take pleasure in beating Matt LaFleur twice a year. So where does this rank on the cheap shot scale? Where does that rank from the cheap shot scale for Ben Johnson taking a little pot shot at Matt LaFleur? So, boy, I got to tell you, I saw this headline. I got a little excited. I did. I saw the headline, and then I watched the news conference, and I was like, I don't really remember him taking any shot at any other coach. But I saw the headline. I was like, wow, that's pretty good. I'm going to click on that. And I clicked on it, and I was like, what? So on the Maller scale of insults, coach to coach, Ben Johnson saying, I take pleasure in beating Matt LaFleur twice a year. That ranks just ahead of being given a timeout where you're sent to the corner of the room and your parents giving you an earlier bedtime. draconian. Absolutely draconian. Taking pleasure after beating a division rival twice a year. That is cruel and unusual punishment. That is a violation of the Geneva Conventions. It is. How dare you? Despotic. Despotic. Can someone in Green Bay, and we're on in Green Bay, can somebody go do a wellness check on Matt LaFleur? See how he's doing? Yeah. So Ben Johnson wants the Bears fans, obviously fired up, cruise up I-94 there, stop at the Cheese Castle in Kenosha on your way to Lambeau Field. And it's fair to say, though, if the Bears don't at least break even against the Packers, then Ben Johnson will be decommissioned from coaching the Bears. Is that fair to say? That he's not going to last. Now, you only get so many opportunities, and the division, the easiest path to making the playoffs is to win the division.